Thank you. It's so good to be here. But I have something you can add to what I do. I am a therapist, and I incorporate talk therapy into my toolbox, along with Gestalt and developmental trauma, all that. So we do electronic documentation. So last evening I was writing a note, and I said, treatment included talk therapy. Well, I misspelled it, and my autocorrect corrected it to yak therapy. So I love it. I love it. It's so good to be here. I am one of you all. I sat about right here about 10 years ago plus. 75, yeah, and my husband and I, in fact, I parked right in front of the music studio in front of that rail and porch because my husband did that. So I felt I could park there. Thank you. So good to be here. Is Jacinda here? Did you make it in? Jacinda, do you mind passing something out for me? Thanks. So excited that Jacinda's here, and I am going to be her supervisor. I've moved into a supervisor capacity, so I know the work that she does, and it is good work. And also Gary Lee could not be here this morning. However, I'm going to present something that all three of us will be back on campus to, because we want to be, for a workshop. She's going to pass something out that we'll address in a little bit. Clicker. You would think on my drive in from Franklin this morning, going 10 to 15 miles an hour, that it would give me lots of time to settle and relax, but it did just the opposite. So. But I'm here, and I'm thrilled to be here. It's an honor. I count my time with you all as sacred. My husband last night said something about my passion for you all. I said, yeah, that's a pretty good word for it. I care deeply, and I always will, and I'm here for you today. I'm going to present a path forward. When David, Mr. Hartkoff called me, he asked me to focus on a path forward, a way forward. So I am going to present an opportunity for you to take a tool that I use. Mine's right there. And yes, I'm working to be authentic and vulnerable today, but I caught myself walking up the ramp, carrying it the other way, and I thought, But this is my struggle, one of my struggles, and I'm going to share that with you. We all have struggles. We're not in heaven yet, and we're not God. And God told me to get off his throne quite a few years ago. And I'll tell you how Jesus told me to stop trying to be him. That was recently. If I have time, if not, I'll tell you in the workshop. That experience. He said, you can be like me, but you're not me, so stop. We'll get to that if I have time. If not, we're going to offer a workshop coming up soon. We don't know the date yet, but Gary Lee will be here, Jacinda and I, because we choose to be and walk with you. And we're going to take the circle tool that I'm going to show you and work with each of you. I hope everybody comes. Tell your friends, go out and pull people in. We all struggle with something, like I say. We live in a broken world. Mine, perfectionism, and I unpacked it for you. I was wired to be perfect. Okay, my developmental trauma includes being wired to be perfect, but that also set me up for some heartache, because I can't be perfect. So whatever it looks like, we all have something that is a challenge for us. So getting started, I only have like 14 slides, and those of you who I have taught before, this is a miracle. Okay? Usually my slides are like 34 or 40, so I'll try to get through these and then move over into the experiential tool here. Gracious love and truth are for those who plan what is good. I think the key here is we need to plan for good. We need a path. We need to be mindful. Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. Okay, it's not just letting life come and go, ebb and flow, but paying attention on purpose. So in order to move forward, the direction I'm going to take this today is we're going to look at change, okay? Because moving means we change. I got in my car up in Franklin and I inched down the interstate today. That was a change for me, okay? We're going to talk about some internal changes and some behavioral changes this morning. But any movement necessitates change. So here are some reasons that we change, because what we're doing isn't working. Because what we are doing is inconsistent with who you have been created to be. And I so appreciated the prayer this morning. It was just so congruent with where I want to go today, in that he created you, and he created you enough. Okay? And that's the direction that we're going to start moving into, is who am I? Am I living congruent with who I was created to be? And if not, what changes can I enact in my life? We change because we discover new ways of doing things that'll make your life better, because you want to be the best you can be. Notice I didn't say be perfect, be the best you can be. And because of others who matter to you. So the formula, very simple formula that I'm going to use, A plus B plus C equals change. All right? Change is a process, not an event. Now, this is away from the supernatural change that is an event when we give our hearts to Christ. That's not what I'm referencing this morning. I'm talking about change on a human level is a process. So let's look at what A is. A is a model of the world. That's we call the model of the world is our belief system and our core sense of self. Who I am or who I want to become. Okay? Now, I see some of you taking notes, which is awesome. Write I-N-G right here. Just I-N-G, ing. I talk a lot about living in the ings, okay? We're never going to be there until we're there. So we are in the process of becoming, learning, healing, growing, understanding, because we're not there yet. So what does ing look like? I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like grace. Okay? We are going to mess up. We're human. When we mess up, we get up and we say, what can I change? Okay? To keep moving forward. That's living in the ings. That's what I call living in the ings. So, Stephen Covey said, if you focus on behavior, you will get modest change. We call that behavior therapy. Stop that so that doesn't happen anymore. But here, if you change the paradigm, your internal program, your belief system, the change will be significant. Like I say, I was wired as a child to be perfect. I was programmed that way, so that's how my wiring wired. The neural connections in my brain connected, I have to be perfect. About 6 weeks ago, I learned I didn't know. Several years ago, I learned, no, nobody's perfect but God, so what does that mean to me? So I had to begin to shift my paradigm. And the good thing is the brain, my brain is still neuroplastic. Yours is much more neuroplastic than mine even. So it's a little more difficult for me to create those new neural pathways. It's possible, but it's a lot of work, and I do my work, believe me. So I want to talk today about, first of all, about a shift, a paradigm shift for you. But I'm going to share a poem. Some of you may have seen this, written by a 16-year-old Jewish girl, Hasidic Jew, who believes that God is very present and real to her. Has anybody seen this before? Can't see it now, so how do you see it before? But I'm going to read it to you. Oh, there you go. Can't read it on mine. Okay, you start at the top by Channing Gorkin. Today was the absolute worst day ever, and don't try to convince me that there's something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, this world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does not shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness don't last. And it's not true that it's all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can be obtained only if one's surroundings are good. It's not true that good exists. I'm sure you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It's all beyond my control. And you'll never in a million years hear me say that today was a good day. This was in response to an article, a challenge by a teacher to write an article or a poem that addressed evil in the world, okay? What she did, now read from the bottom up. Talk about a paradigm shift, here it comes. Today was a good day, and you'll never in a million years hear me say that it's all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I'm sure that you can agree that it's not true that good exists only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be obtained because it's all in the mind and heart. And it's not true that satisfaction and happiness don't last. Some goodness does shine through once in a while, even if the world is a pretty evil place. Because when you take a closer look, there's something good in every day. And don't try to convince me that today was the absolute worst day ever. Pretty cool, isn't it? That's what you call a paradigm shift. Significant. So, I would like to present to you a paradigm shift. And some of you may have already made this shift in yourself, and that's awesome. Hopefully, I'll say something that can even strengthen that. And for those of you who haven't made this paradigm shift yet, here we go. I'm going to challenge you to shift your energy, your focus from stop doing that to I will do this. What's your brain do when you say, don't think about the snow outside? Don't think about that beautiful snow outside. Don't think about that beautiful white snow outside. What does our brain do? Snow outside, right? So rather than it's snowing outside, and I'm going to bring my attention in here, and I'm going to listen to Rebecca. See the shift? Okay? So this is a really important shift for those of us who were programmed to be rule followers. Now, that does not mean that rules don't matter. Rules matter, okay? But it's where our energy goes, where we train our brain to go and focus. Does that make sense? Cool. So, that's the A, the model of the world. If I can get my ADD together and keep up with my slides here. Okay. B is the decision. Imagine a table right in front of you. And I found one with all kinds of food on. I thought maybe that would be best this morning. Okay, imagine a table in front of each of us. And we work with this at work a lot. It's called a decision table. There's an actual worksheet that we use, and it's very powerful. But on this table are decisions that you know you need to make, okay? And if you made those decisions, your life would be better. You would be more congruent. Your behaviors would match your values. Be more relational, whatever it is. But they're laying there. The decisions wait on the table until we decide to pick them up and act on them. Can't do it for you. And sometimes we can't do it alone. And I'll address that in a little bit, okay? But we were wired for struggle. That's the world we live in, okay? So sometimes we have to take charge. Not sometimes, we have to take charge. Sometimes it looks different for different people. But that decision is going to stay on that table until you decide to pick it up, okay? So I'm not going to leave you there. I have a plan. Here it is. The plan must be doable. I plan to do this year. If it's not doable, I'm going to fail, okay? It must be concrete, 1 moment at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. And then you know what? Directly, you've strung together a change of habits in your life. But it starts that moment at a time. Okay? So here's the plan, and you're holding it. But this is a visual to describe it. It's a circle plan map for behavior. There's an inner circle that's red. Think of this as a stop traffic signal. The red will be the behavior or the belief that you want to stop, okay? The middle circle is the caution zone, and the green circle is full steam ahead, okay? So let's unpack that a little bit. The inner circle is red, behavior that's off limits. Incongruent with values, and we are Christ followers, so this could be something that, like for me, the belief was, I'm not enough. Well, that's not congruent with who God created me to be. That doesn't mean I swing way over here and I'm all that too. No, it means we're the same as, I'm the same as. I'm not better than you, and neither am I less than anyone. We're the same as. So my paradigm was more in the area of shifting my beliefs, okay? Because I'm a rule follower, so I didn't get into, some things, stealing and that kind of thing, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. We all work on something. All right. The important thing is you don't want to fight your battles in the red zone. You want to fight them in the yellow zone. Okay, you don't want to get into the red of what you're trying to stop and fight the battle there. Okay? Yellow. This is the caution area. Think of that stoplight, that traffic signal. Be careful. These are things that could lead to the red zone if not kept in check. All right? Boundaries, think of this as a boundary system. Okay? Self-imposed. This is important for those of us who in recovery, rule followers. No, I'm doing this because it is what is right and best for me, not because I have to for something out here. Okay? There's a huge shift in that. Fight your battles here. All right, the green circle, these are healthy beliefs, healthy behaviors, consistent with your values. Here's where we get the strength for the battle. Try to hang out here as much as possible. Now, we don't live in a utopian society, so we can't hang out here all the time, but be mindful of practicing hanging out in the green zone. Let's look at the battle. Can you read it? Yeah. An old Cherokee man once told his grandson, "My son, there's a battle between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness and truth. The boy thought about it and asked, "Grandfather, which wolf wins?" The old man quietly replied, "The one you feed." Powerful. One of my favorite scriptures. One of my all favorites, and I have a lot of favorites, but this is right up there. He comes alongside us when we go through hard times. Before you know it, he brings us alongside someone else who's going through hard times so that we can be there for that person, just as God was there for us. The song that said, "He's a king, and," here's a both and he's also your friend. Wow. He's saying, "I've got your back." Yeah, you need to take responsibility for what you can control. I gave you the ability to do this, but I will give you the strength. He doesn't do it for us. Yet he strengthens us because he's got our back. Okay? And that's going to be one of the most important things as we're looking at the inner circle, the whole circle work. Okay? And that's one of the most important things here. I was in a meeting here about 2 weeks ago, I think, with staff and faculty. And I was struck with those who said, "I want to be a part of these students' lives." How can we do that? How can we come, and I'm tearing up again, I cried then, cry now about it. It was so touching. How can we come alongside and walk with them? Yeah. Now, I didn't get here in time to make handouts, but I will have these for the workshop. We will talk about a couple things, and I'll hit it right now, then I'll just put these away. When we talk about creating community, someone coming alongside of us, I just want to caution you, you need to make sure that person whom you have chosen is safe. Okay? There are safe people, and you all know this, and there are people who are not safe. So I have a handout from Cloud and Townsend. What are safe people? And some of it's a person who accepts me just like I am. Doesn't mean they excuse me, but there's no judgment there. You don't need judged. You need somebody to come alongside and you say, "Okay, what are you choosing to do about this?" And you share it with me, and I'll say, "Let's go for it. I'll fight for you." Okay? A person whose influence develops my ability to love and be responsible. Someone I can be around, okay? And then I copied something for a partner for accountability. What would an accountability partner look like? Godly, trustworthy, accepting, courageous, forgiving, edifying, encouraging. Okay? And then we talk about mentors. See, I'm trying to help you understand that we're not islands in this world. The world's too hard to do alone. And some of you have come alongside me, and you're making my life easier to go through my stuff. Okay? We're not meant to do this alone. Okay? I encourage you, just be careful when you need to address deeply personal things. I strongly encourage you, find someone of the same gender. Okay? Because you don't want to create another layer for you to have to work through, because when we're hurting deeply, okay, we're vulnerable. And vulnerability is not necessarily a negative, okay? But vulnerability can lead to risk when not managed properly, okay? So seek out someone of the same gender. Now, women, girls, however you want to look at yourself, okay? You need healthy male role models in your lives. You do. And guys, you need healthy women models in your life, okay? And I'm not talking about your typical help me understand this. You can, either gender is fine. But I'm talking about when it becomes deeply, deeply personal. I strongly encourage you, seek out someone of the same gender, okay? So, all right. What time do we end? 3 minutes? All right. I will quickly show you what my circle looks like, and then you'll have to come back to the workshop. All right. My red zone, perfectionism. Okay? My yellow zone, what do I fight? Where do I fight my battles in staying out of perfectionism? See, perfectionism sets us up for, I have to be perfect. You're not, but I am. So that puts me one up, which is no, not good. So, comparison, stress and anxiety, mind reading, emotional reasoning. I'm feeling this way, so it must be true. Maybe, maybe not. Performance, okay? Fatigue, shame, social media. I am not a huge fan, but a lot whom I work with say, I got on Facebook and this, and this, and I'm just really feeling bad about myself. I say, let it go. Leave it alone. So what do I do to build nurture into my life? I like to divide it up into mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional. But let's look at emotional, because I'm running out of time. Spiritual, it's a given. My relationship with Christ has to be there. It's my foundation. Emotionally, spend time with my husband. He's my guy, okay? He's my German rock. Put those two together, okay? My sons, my grandchildren, close friends. Create community. I have an amazing, Jacinda's and Gary are part of my colleagues at work. We have 10 therapists now, and I just gained so much strength from them. Journaling, mindfulness, self-compassion. Give myself a break. I did the best I could. Authenticity, vulnerability, gratitude, and joy. And then mental TED Talks. I just love philosophy. I will talk philosophy. Scrabble, reading, intuition. So you see, if I stay here, self-compassion, awareness, I'm pretty far away from my perfectionism streak, okay? But if I'm up in here feeling shame and not tending to it, I'm pretty close to crossing over there. See how that works? Now, if I had time, we were going to create a model of another one, but I don't. We're out of time. But I was going to choose something around healthy sexuality, and I was going to choose pornography to work with. It's out there. I'm a certified sexual addiction therapist. I'm very aware of our culture. But if you will come back to our workshop, we will work with you with whatever your challenge is. And we want to create a safety place for you. And this can be confidential. I mean, we'll be in a group, but respect each other's space, okay? So please come back for that. Pornography. And I know it's a challenge. I am not blind, and I will talk about anything. So I'm good to go, okay? It's out there. My age, you had to get in the car. You had to have gas in the car. You had to have a car. Then you had to have gas. Then you had to drive. Then you had to have money. And then you went home and looked at it. You all, it's like, there it is, okay? So even if that's not a struggle for you, and if it is, we'll work with it. But if it's not, it's there, and you will know someone who struggles with it. So say viewing pornography, all out here, lonely, stress, internet. See, internet's not off, but we better set some boundaries around it. Your iPhone, it's needed, but we better set some boundaries around it. So that's the work we'll do. And then we will customize this to what works for you. You might hate philosophy, and that's okay. It might be soccer, okay? We'll do this together. All right, thank you so much for your time. I loved it. I don't know who I turn it over to, but I'm finished. God be with you till we meet again.